Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Horror Corner. Score one more for the good guy. Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Horror Corner. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Gershon. This is another movie review. This is Hell Night. From 1981, directed by Tom DeSimone and starring the lovely, the legendary Linda Blair from Exorcist fame. Also starring Peter Barton from Friday the 13th, The Final Chapter. And this here is the Scream Factory release. With the reversible cover there, you can switch it for this artwork right here, which is pretty cool, but not very flattering to Linda Blair, which is why I like this original poster art there. I will say, as far as the Scream Factory Blu-ray goes, the transfer definitely could have been a lot better. There's times in the movie where you see like these long black lines going across the screen, and a couple spots where there's blotches going across the screen. You know, I wish they would have paid a little more love to the transfer. There are a lot of cool special features, though, with some nice interviews with Linda Blair and the cast and all that. But yeah, I wish the transfer could have been a little bit better, you know. With that being said, Hell Night from 1981, classic early 80s slasher film, directed by Tom DeSimone. It's got some great gothic atmosphere. It kind of mixes the haunted house movie with the slasher film, and it has great results. So the film stars Linda Blair as Marty Gaines, Peter Barton as Jeff Reed, Vincent Van Patten in the role of Seth, the surfer dude, and he's son of the legendary Dick Patton from 8 is Enough, of course. You got Kevin Brophy as Peter Bennett. So Hell Night is basically this big, huge frat party, and it's like massive, you know, the whole school's involved, basically. Wild party, there's wet t-shirt contests going on, there's screaming and yelling and drinking and drugging, and it's also a costume party, which is just perfect for a horror film, isn't it? So the fraternity has 4 new pledges, one of them being Linda Blair, of course, and Peter Barton. And their hazing is going to be that they have to spend the night at Garth Manor, this abandoned old mansion that has a big legend behind it, which Peter's character at the beginning, who is basically, I guess, the leader of the fraternity, he tells the story of the history of Garth Manor, where these murders took place, where the owner, Raymond Garth, and his wife had these children, and they were all, like, hideously deformed, you know. So I guess the wife, you know, kept trying to have children to see if they would have a normal child, but she kept having, like, mongoloid, you know, deformed children. And I guess Raymond Garth, the owner, went crazy and murdered his wife and children, 3 of the children. However, there was one child, the last child, the 4th child, named Andrew, who they never found his body. So, you know, legend has it that he still resides in the mansion, and it's this big, huge gothic mansion, you know. Just perfect for a horror film. It adds all kinds of gothic flavor. It's like this 100 years old mansion, you know. And you look inside, there's candles lit everywhere, you know. Damn, there's a lot of candles in there. Like, how did this place not burn down during the filming? But yeah, some great gothic atmosphere, and Linda Blair as Marty does a fantastic job. I love her in this movie. This is probably my favorite performance of hers outside of The Exorcist, of course. And I like a lot of her movies. Aside from that, too, she had a great kind of B-movie career after The Exorcist. And this is definitely one of my favorite. And Peter Barton does a great job, too. I like his character a lot better here than he was in Friday the 13th, the final chapter. His character is much more fleshed out. He's kind of this rich, aristocratic dude, you know, smart, intelligent, and charming as well, you know. And Linda Blair kind of comes from a poor background, but she is intelligent. And they hit it off. They definitely hit it off, you know. They have a little bit of a romance there, and it's nice. And Linda Blair is dressed as an old, you know, like, Renaissance era period style dress throughout the film. She looks beautiful. And Jeff's character is basically like an old gunslinger, and then Seth's character is like a surfer dude, you know. And one girl is just like a partier, you know, wild party girl, you know. So yeah, lots of crazy hijinks occur, you know, and I guess they kind of, there's people outside the mansion while they're staying inside trying to set up the fake scares, you know, and like using projector screens and crazy audio tapes of noise, you know, screaming noises, and they try to scare them, basically, you know. And it's got a great haunted house kind of vibe to it. But little do they know, lurking beneath the surface, lurking underground, is this mongoloid, hairy man-beast, you know. So there's real trouble brewing in Garth Mansion, for sure. As all the people, all the students, all the frat boys and girls outside trying to mess with this young group of fraternity kids get theirs, so to speak, you know, as they're picked off one by this man-beast creature, which kind of reminds me of the Hatchet franchise, you know, Victor Crowley, you know, I'm sure that owes a little bit to Hell Knight. For sure, yeah. Definitely get Hatchet vibes, because he has a hatchet. The killer has a hatchet in the film, and there's some nasty death scenes, too, where one of the girls gets pulled under this well, you know, underground, and we first see the man-beast dude, you know, and he's got a hatchet, and bam! Decapitates the blonde girl, you know. And later on we see her head sitting in the bed, you know, so it's got some nice blood and gore in there. It's never over the top, though, you know. We don't see, like, blood gushing and guts everywhere, you know. This is just some nice bloody kills, you know. One dude gets his head spun around, twisted around, you know. Kind of like Linda Blair in The Exorcist. Only he doesn't survive. So yeah, like I said, Linda Blair's character and Peter Barton's character definitely hit it off. There's a romance there, but, you know, and Linda Blair's basically playing the damsel in distress, you know, in classic style. Surprisingly, there's not a lot of nudity. In fact, there are a few sex scenes, but it's almost like laughable at times, because the people involved are wearing their underwear, and they're just kind of rolling around in their underwear. It's a little bit cheesy, honestly, yet. But the movie has some great atmosphere. It's very well shot, very dark tone, you know. It's got a great classic horror score there, and I love it, you know. It's a great gothic feel with the candles everywhere around the mansion, you know. Really cool. So definitely a nice early 80s slasher that I highly recommend, with some nice kills, some nice blood and gore. And there's one scene where the guy Seth gets away. He does escape the mansion, and the mansion is surrounded by this huge gate with these, you know, long, like, sharp edges, spears on the top, you know, that classic Gothic mansion style. And they're really high up, so they really do a good job. The director does a great job of building the suspense as he's trying to climb over the gate. And they're like, oh, is he going to make it, or is he going to get impaled? Like one of the guys, Peter, says in the beginning, don't go up, don't try to climb there, you'll cut your nuts off. And that kind of gets close to happening. You know, he nicks himself a few times, but he does manage to get over, and goes to the police. And the police don't believe him. They're just like, oh, you guys, you're a pain in the ass, you're partying, you're just making all kinds of noise. I had enough with you guys, you know. That's basically their attitude. They don't believe him. And he manages to sneak in this room in the police station where there's a desk and there's all kinds of guns laid out on the desk with bullets right there. And he sneaks in the room, steals a shotgun, loads it up, and just crawls out the window. Nobody notices. Hilarious. Only in the movies, guys. Only in the movies. You have to suspend your disbelief sometimes, but it's pretty hilarious. And of course, we end up with the great final act, which takes place underneath the mansion in this, like, hideous, like, you know, very underground setting, where they chase the monster dude, you know. They try and take him out, you know. But there is a big twist in the final act. I'm not going to give it away, guys, because I definitely want you to check out this movie. Hell Night is such a fun early 80s slasher with some nice haunted house vibes and some great gothic atmosphere. And I highly recommend it. So I definitely give Hell Night 2 Devil Horns up. And thank you for joining me, Sean Patrick Urshan, in the Horror Corner. Tune in and stay scared.